In this video, we're going to be building this visual right here in Microsoft Power BI. Hi, my name is Ned. I work in business intelligence and I'm a newly created or minted Microsoft MVP with a focus in Power BI. And in this video, we're going to be teaching you how you can build the visual that I just showed you. We're going to be covering everything from how to actually make the change functionality or the clicking work all the way to how to stylize it so it looks decent. But first, if you could do me a favor before we get into all that, and you could go ahead and click the like button and then go on over and hit the subscribe button, it would mean a lot. So with that out of the way, let's get started by taking a closer look at the visual we're going to be building. So this visual has three visible columns. It has a sales column, which shows the sales either by sales rep or by region. It has a rank column, which ranks either the regions or the sales reps by their sales figure. And then it has a change in rank, which compares how the current week's ranking changed week over week. So in this case, the South region's rank versus the other regions went up 3 places. The Central region's rank versus their prior week went down 2 places, and the East region's rank stayed the same. What's really special about this visual is that you can easily flip it between different levels of a hierarchy. So in this case, the hierarchy would first be region and then be sales rep. So a sales rep would always belong to a region. So jumping then into Microsoft Power BI, let's start from scratch and let's learn how that visual works under the hood. So here we have a blank Power BI semantic model, which by the way, I'll link down below in the video description if you want to follow along with me as I do this. But with that said, let's take a look at the tables in this semantic model. So I'm going to click into model view. And as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward semantic model. We have a fact table with a sales amount, a date key, a region, and a sales rep and a transaction ID. And then we have a pretty simple date table and a measure table where we're going to go ahead and store any measure that we might need for this report. If we take a look at the date table, the only thing that I think is unique about this date table is that it has offset columns. Offset columns are really, really cool. Essentially, the idea is that for the current month, the current day, or the current week, the offsets value is 0. And then for the prior week, the offset value is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, so on and so forth. But for the future weeks, you essentially go up. So like if the current week is 0, next week would be 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. What this means though, is that when we jump back into report view and we look at our sales measure, we can really easily create a new measure that is the current week simply by clicking the new measure button up here and then going calculate and then sales, and we'll filter it where week offset equals 0. So dim date, week offset equals 0. So this is now our current week sales. And we can basically copy and paste this measure for prior week sales by clicking new measure once again, pasting that measure that we had just written, and then going prior week and changing the week offset filter down here to -1. So now we have a measure that represents sales, current week sales, and prior week sales. So let's see what this looks like if we click the table button and then we drag all of these columns in. And as you can see, right, you go from 585,000 to current week sales is 220,000 and prior week sales is 339,000. Let's quickly format these and remove decimal points by selecting the measure over off to the side and going 0 for the decimal points on that one, and then doing that one more time for prior week sales. Now, the basis of this visual is a matrix, so let's go ahead and let's switch this from a table to a matrix, and then in the rows, let's bring in the two columns we want to switch in between. So that would be first region up top, right, and then a sales rep under. So right now in this matrix, we have a central, and then under central, we have all of the sales reps that work in the central region. But this looks nothing like the visual that I showed you up above, where we were able to select a button and have it switch between region or sales rep. So let's go ahead and let's fix that. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using something called
a field parameter. So you can get and create a field parameter by going over into the modeling tab, going into new parameters, then clicking fields, at which point you can then drag over the fields that you want in the field parameter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag over region, and then I'm going to drag over sales rep, and I am going to call this field selector. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit create. And what that should do is that should insert in a field selector slicer because I had that box checked in the pop-up, and it should have created a field parameter table. And in that field parameter table that we named field selector, you should have a singular column. So this column is what we are going to add into our matrix instead of the region or the sales rep. So I'm going to remove those two columns, and I'm going to add that field selector into rows. Now, with nothing selected in the slicer, it looks exactly like how our other pivot table did. However, if we were to select region, all of a sudden it only contains the region. And if we were to select sales rep, all of a sudden it only contains sales rep. So this is looking a lot better. Now, how did we go ahead and did we create a rank for prior week and for current week? Well, the easiest way to do that is by using a visual calculation. You can insert in a visual calculation into a visual by selecting said visual and then going new visual calculation. Let's go ahead and let's create the ranking columns for both the prior week and the current week sales. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go rank, then we're going to go dense, and then we are going to go comma, order by, and then we are going to go first current week sales descending, and then we're going to close that. And what that should do is that should create a rank that if we look, the highest value should be 1, and then it should go down based off of the current week sales. So let's go ahead and let's rename this as well as actually add one in for the prior week. So I'm going to click the three little dots right here, and I'm going to go new visual calculation and then custom one more time. And I'm going to do the exact same formula. So I'm going to go rank, dense, and then I will go order by, and then I will go prior week sales this time, descending, and I will close that. And I'm going to rename this column to prior week sales rank. And then I'm going to name the one that we created earlier that I didn't give a good name just to rank because that is our current week sales. So we now have a rank, our current week sales, our prior week sales, and then like the total sales by sales rep. I'm going to remove that because we no longer need it. And I'm going to put these in a order that makes sense. So we have current week sales, rank, prior week sales, and then prior week sales rank. Now what we need to do is we need to calculate the change between the current week sales rank and the prior week sales rank. And we need to go ahead and do some fancy logic to get the little up down unichar characters that we had before. So I'm going to create one more visual calculation by clicking new visual calculation, and I'm going to rename this one change in rank, and I'll go week over week right there. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go var current, and this will be equal to our current rank right here. And I will title this rank right there. Then I'm going to insert a new var, and if you guessed that I'm going to set it equal to the prior week, right, rank, you guessed correctly. So I'm going to go equals prior. I'm going to go equals prior week sales rank right there. Then I'm going to go new line, and I'm going to go var, and I'm going to call this one underscore diff, and I will take prior week rank minus the current week rank. Okay, so now if we were to return diff, we essentially have the change in ranking week over week. Now, we want, though, this to be nicely formatted with arrows and things like that. So let's go ahead and let's add that into this calculation right here by going down into our return. Let's create a few new lines here. Let's get rid of what we were returning before. And then we are going to go switch. And in the switch condition that's equal to true, right, we will go is blank is blank current or we'll do that with little pipes, and oops, I'm forgetting a comma up there, is blank current or is blank prior, then return blank. Um, else, if diff greater than 0, then we want to return the plus sign to show that the rank changed with the difference itself after. So we want to go and underscore diff. And right here, we then want to put in the triangle unichar that represents that the rank went up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy and paste this. Uh, and if you want to look up what the unichar character is, just simply search up arrow unichar from the web browser and it should come up. And we just need one more comma. So I'm going to put a comma here, and I just realized that I forgot an underscore right here. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that. We then need to do pretty much the same thing for if it's a negative. So let's go down here and let's go diff. If diff is less than 0, we will already have a negative sign, so we don't need to add in a plus, so we can remove that. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste in a down arrow from out of screen. So there we are. We now have one more option, which is, hey, what happens if they are equal to 0, right? So if they're equal to 0, we just want to return a dash. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and paste that and close this switch statement. So what this should now return is our nicely formatted change in rank. And look, it looks like it did. Now, one thing that you might notice is that both the rank and the prior week rank have zeros in the visual calculation. We can fix that by going back to the report right here, selecting the matrix once again, and then going into the formatting pane, going into properties, data format, and then for rank, going down here and setting it equal to a whole number. And then for prior week sales rank, doing exactly the same. However, we don't really need to see the prior week sales rank at all, and we also don't need to see the prior week sales. So we can go ahead and hide both of those by entering back into the visual calculation editor and then clicking the little eyeball next to prior week sales and prior week sales rank. And at this point, we now have current week sales rank and change in rank week over week. So if we now hit back, we now have a nice
Functional report. So now that we've got all of the report's plumbing done, it is now time for the fun part. We're going to start to stylize it. We're going to start first with the slicer, and then we're going to move on to the matrix, hopefully coming up with kind of a clean, cohesive look. Finally, then we're going to attempt to combine the slicer and the matrix so they look like they are a single collective visual. So let's jump to the computer and let's get started by stylizing the slicer. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to make the slicer no longer a slicer. So we are going to select it with the formatting pane expanded, and we are going to change it into a button slicer. Once we have changed it into a button slicer, the first thing that we can go ahead and do is we can expand the size and style and then set the padding to 0 pixels all the way around right here and turn off the background. We can then go ahead and we can collapse this section right here. On the title section, we're going to just go ahead and shut that off completely. And then on the single select section, we're going to make sure that that is turned on, as well as force selection being turned on. At this point, we are not going to mess with the multi-button layout. However, we are going to change the gap from 8 pixels all the way down to 4, let's go with 3 pixels. We are then going to go ahead and collapse that. We then can go ahead and expand the callout section, and then in the value, we are going to go ahead and drop this from size 12 point font all the way to size 8-point font. So we now have absolutely tiny font, and we are going to go ahead and collapse that. On the layout, we want to leave this middle aligned. However, actually one thing down in the value, we do want to center align these. We don't have anything in the label and we don't have a background. We are not putting an image into this and we are not putting in a selection icon, so nothing to change there. But in the buttons section right here, we are going to first expand the shape and we are going to change it to a snip tab right here. And we're going to change the rounding of the snips basically all the way down to 2 pixels.
Well, actually, let's change it down to 4 pixels. And then we are going to change the padding down to custom right here. And we are going to drop this all the way down to 0 pixels. Now, what this means is we should be able to drop this button slicer down so it is incredibly tiny. So if you look right here, I have now collapsed this down, 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 and we now have two very tiny little buttons. And actually, that's even probably a little too big. So I'm going to collapse that more. So we now have a region and a sales rep section that is absolutely tiny. Finally, one final thing that I am going to go ahead and do is I am going to search for header icons right here, and I am just going to straight up shut off the header icons completely. Okay, so we now have our buttons stylized. It's now time to turn our attention to the matrix, which hopefully should be equally as easy to format. So I'm going to clear out of the search bar right here, and I'm going to expand the layout and style presets, and I'm going to change the style away from default right here to minimal, which is what's going to go ahead and kind of give us this nice spaced out look. I then am going to go ahead and collapse that. And then I'm going to go down here to row subtotals and switch them off. Okay, we now have our column headers. I'm going to just make one quick adjustment here, which is to turn this bold. And then I can almost never remember where this line is. So the easiest way to find that is just to search for color and scroll all the way down until you see the border. I'm going to go ahead and switch this to black. So we now have this nice, really clean back and forth. Now, here is where this gets pretty creative. What we are going to go ahead and do is we are going to turn on the title here. And for this title, we're going to title this current week sales, which means that this current week sales right here is a little redundant. So I'm going to double click right here to rename it to just sales. And then I am going to turn on a subtitle. Now, for this subtitle, I'm going to title this as rank by and put in a little colon right here. And then I'm going to go down to this spacing section. I am going to turn on customize spacing, although it's not actually needed. So, you know, take that as you will. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some space here and then all the way up. And you didn't need to get as fancy as this. But what that means is that I can now drag in my buttons and they should fit in really nicely right here above the matrix. And one of the things you might need to do is select them and then actually go into the size and style and size and position and actually kind of manually move them up just like a pix at a time right here. So, and I just realized I am clicking the horizontal button. So we need to move those over right there. And then we need to move the vertical up. So now they are perfectly in line right here, and they look like they're actually a part of this matrix in the first place. One of the things that you do just need to do with the matrix is make sure that the background is shut off. And then we need to go into our actual formatting here to make sure that the field selector is always on top of the current week sales, which it is. So now this is looking like one singular cohesive visual. So let's highlight them both by dragging right here and then going into the formatting section and clicking group. And just like that, we have the visual that I showed you in the beginning of this tutorial, right? We have a matrix where we are ranking either by region or by sales rep, and we have two buttons. And when I dragged that, I dragged the size of the group, not my buttons. Oh no. So let's undo that. Select the matrix right here, and then only adjust the matrix size, which again might require our buttons to be moved up just a little bit. So let's go ahead and do one final tweak. And I always do that. I always go the wrong direction when I'm using this. But there we go.
So I hope you learned something from this video, and if you did, again, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. I hope you have a good rest of your day. It's nighttime here, but if it's daytime where you are, I hope you have a good morning or coffee or lunch or whatever. All right, bye.